Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the FPL BlackBox ahead. Oh, I said the Q&A. It's not the Q&A. It's FPL BlackBox ahead of Gameweek 9. You are working with a very beleaguered manager in Az today, and I'm joined by someone who is soaring in the clouds. I mean, at 1.1 million, but it must feel like it, Andy. You've had a storming week.
Yeah, no, it's not too bad. Obviously, it's all relative, isn't it? So, although I'm still at 1.1 million, I had a 1.7 million green arrow. So obviously, I'm absolutely thrilled with that. But like I said, it's all relative. Obviously, if you'd have told me I was going to be 1 million after game week 8, I would have gone, what's gone wrong? But actually, I'm quite happy this week.
Oh, 4.2 million. I thought I'd do better in these first 8 weeks. I'm not going to lie. It's been a tough start to the season again, and it was another another tough week. Just another week where I made wrong decisions and got punished to the maximum level. It's a cruel game. It is a cruel game, and yeah, it's
the big swings that hurt the most, isn't it? The swings that should only be a 2 or 3 point swing, and you look at Alderete versus Mukiele this week was an 11-point swing, which just seemed. Don't get me wrong, I knew it was coming, but lots of people don't see that kind of thing coming. So, I'm joking.
It was a 16-point swing really, because the injury meant I didn't even play Alderete and I played Lacroix instead, who I obviously wouldn't have played. But looking back on it, I'll come to my team. I will rant a bit when we look at my team. I will rant, and then I promise I will then not rant for the rest of the stream. So if you can just indulge me that rant, then we're going to be fine.
This is therapy for you tonight.
This is the only reason I'm here. This is the only reason I'm here. A bit of therapy. Before we come to my rant, come on. I mean, if you've seen the Scoutcast already, if you've been following Andy's team, you know he's had a very, very good week. 96 points on the bench boost. You had your target at 10 points. You smashed that. Talk us through it.
Yeah, so I did Xavi Simons to Ismail Assar, which I got ridiculed for that when I posted that I did that move. People were going, what an awful move. Xavi Simons got a better fixture this week. Sar's got 2 horrible fixtures. Don't like that move at all. I thought there might be 1 or 2 goals in that game. Didn't expect 6 goals in the Crystal Palace game. And I didn't like everything I was seeing from Xavi Simons. And a lot of the data we've been seeing from him is saying that it's really tough for him to get involved. So I was more than happy to make that move this week. And I didn't do the rest of it. Didn't do anything else to my team, and obviously bench boosted. I had Raya with 6, Gabriel with 12. Obviously, they're heavily owned. Senesi with 2, and Mukiele with 17 points. So a goal, a clean sheet, DEFCON, full bonus. Basically a full house for a defender, which...
As much as a hat-trick for a striker. As a match Mateta.
I do feel like there's some poetry in him doing that for me, considering I've been bigging up Sunderland all year, even in pre-season I was, and I loved Mukiele from his Footy Man days, so I'm thrilled that that's happened. Doesn't always happen like that, so I've got to take it as I can. Semenyo with 4, Bruno Fernandes getting me 8, which Bruno Fernandes' 8 almost felt better than Mukiele's 17, considering that we obviously... Oh, have I lost you?
You're frozen, but I can hear you.
Oh, considering that obviously...
Gone.
Oh,
but
brilliant.
I can still hear you.
I will. Shall I reload Video Ninja?
Yeah, try reading the link.
All right. Oh no, am I back?
You're back.
Here we go. So yeah, obviously that meant that we beat Liverpool, so that was very, very nice. And then yeah, Reinders with 1, going off in 59 minutes wasn't too nice, but Sarr with 2, Pedro with 2, Gyökeres 2, and Haaland captain on 26. Dubravka, another hero, with 9 points on my bench boost. If it weren't for him, it would be quite a disappointing bench boost, because Van der Ven got 0, got booked, conceded 2, Stach got 2, and Tarkowski did get DEFCON and got 3 points, which is what I was hoping for from him, which is why I didn't move him out, because if I did move him out, it was going to be for Gvardiol. So that was quite...
Which I said to you to do.
I know. So 96 points and a 1.7 million green arrow, which, yeah, I'm more than happy with that. So, yeah, can't complain.
I mean... Obviously, Mateta got the hat-trick. Mukiele got the defender hat-trick. You also had the hat-trick because you went to the Bournemouth Palace game, like the best game of the weekend. Manchester United won at Anfield for the first time in 300 years, and you got a 96.50k game week. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that at the weekend, does it?
but genuinely best weekend I've had in ages. And I did the quiz, didn't I, on Friday, and I was having to. You remember I told you about my works quiz, and I was a bit ill, had to use my voice really loudly. Then watching the game and then watching United, I had no voice Monday,
No.
and then I had to do Parents' Evening Tuesday. So it's been non-stop since Friday evening. But it's probably one of the best weekends I've had in terms of FPL and football results and watching football. And it's great. So it does happen every now and again.
What's it like, Andy? What's it like? Tell me. Describe the feeling to me. It's been so long.
I took a few videos and pictures, so I'll send you the whole thing, and you can relive the weekend if you like.
And we look a bit alike, so I could just sort of superimpose my face onto yours and live your life.
Perfect.
Yeah. Fantastic. Sorry, I haven't even said hello to everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining us. I know there's football on tonight. If you're watching live or catching up, we appreciate it. We've got J77 Lag all down to the white and gold manscaping. Yeah.
That's what it is.
He knows. He
That's
knows.
what it is.
Absolutely. FPL Scope says Andy's only mistake was not putting Mukiele on your bench. Yeah, well done for that. You didn't mess around with your bench. I'm proud of you.
I would have played him 100% this week, and I didn't feel like I could put him on my bench. So yeah, more than happy to to have played him this week.
Tayyip says only one Azrant seems likely. I assume you mean unlikely. I am going to try. I'm going to try, but yeah, do brace yourself. And Mayer's gone up 3.5 million in the last 2 weeks, so that gives me hope that good things are happening on the horizon.
Yeah.
Right, come on, let's have a look at my week. So it was a green arrow. I mean, it's 60 points. I went up 80,000 places from 4.29 million to 4.21 million. Let's just go through the team first. It's Pope in goal with 2, Lacroix, Gabriel and Diouf. We'll come on to him in a minute. Saka with 7, Gordon, come on to him again in a minute as well. Semenyo and Reinders. Calvert-Lewin came off the bench. The amount of stick I got for him. With 2 points, Gyökeres with 2, and Haaland with 26. And then on the bench, Dubravka, Enzo obviously didn't make the team, Senesi and Alderete. Okay, let's just go through some of the things that happened this week. So obviously I didn't go for João Pedro, right? On the wild card, I picked Enzo because I thought he was a better pick. Really impressive against Liverpool. If I'd gone for Pedro, I wouldn't have had 2 injury doubts, and I definitely would have bench boosted the team, because the only reason I didn't was because I had Alderete and Enzo. What did I say I was going to do on the stream last week? If Enzo was fit, Alderete to Mukiele and bench boost. Obviously, it then became increasingly obvious as the time went on. Enzo wasn't going to play. He wasn't pictured in training. I was 50-50 on whether Alderete would start. Didn't want to risk the bench boost in the end. Terrible decision. Obviously, absolutely awful. But that is a luck thing, I think, getting the injuries and stuff. But the skill issue is I should have played Dubravka over Pope. Yeah. Looking back on that, I know obviously you said with the points, but I should have played the fixture. And I should have just started Alderete, because he wasn't going to be benched, was he? He was either going to play or miss out. So I should have played him over Lacroix. And actually, if I'd played Alderete over Lacroix, not playing the bench boost wouldn't have been such a disaster, because it would only have been those Dubravka points that would have come in. Anyway, that's that. Bad decision making.
I mean, if your team played midweek, Gyökeres got a brace, Gordon got a goal and assist.
This is the other thing. I mean, Gordon and Gyökeres are smashing it. I mean, particularly Gordon in Europe. I know. But honestly, the thing that annoyed me the most of this week was Diouf getting benched. I mean, it made no difference anyway. Rodon conceded. I would have had him or Kilman or whoever. But, oh, my God, come on.
But it summed it up that we spent the whole weekend and you were like triggered saying, oh, this is just one of those times, all that kind of stuff. And then obviously we got to the Monday night game and you were like, here we go, here's my last glimmer of hope. And Diouf was benched, which you just can't make it up, can you? You
can't make it up. I tell you, the game finds new ways to just like wind me up these days, these last couple of years. I feel like it's ever since that game where I sold Watkins for Darwin Núñez, and Watkins then got a brace. He was injured and a massive
Mark
doubt.
Did the same, didn't he?
Yeah, I think we both did. Yeah, that's right. I did it for a hit though. I think
I did.
And then ever since I got in Darwin Núñez, it's just been hell, like absolute hell. Yeah,
And
I don't know what. I'm trying to like work out what I'm doing wrong to try and correct it, because it's got past the point of it all just being bad luck. But I can't just seem to stem the tide. Every decision I make just seems to be wrong these days. Nightmare.
yeah, it does seem to be a tough one. I mean, the big thing obviously you did before international break was you did the Morgan Gibbs White and Alanga moves, didn't you? And I think those two in particular were tough moves because it used 2 of your transfers as well. So like 2 of your transfers on 2 duds is tough, and obviously you wildcarded. And to be fair, your wildcard team isn't poor. It's tough you didn't have Mookie LA, for instance, or someone else that hit big. But I don't think the rest of it's that bad. I think it's just some of those moves, really. I mean, what can you do? Alanga and Morgan Gibbs White could have worked, but obviously Forest just went down a hole, didn't they? And Newcastle's attacking stats went down a hole as well. So yeah, I mean, so if we're not thinking of all the mistakes you might have made or might not have made, what are you thinking in terms of stemming the tide? What are you thinking of? Right, what do I do here to try and start getting these continuous green arrows to start moving up?
Well, I think I've got to get rid of Calvert-Lewin, because the idea, and I know I did a whole segment on him on him last week, but the wild card was set up to bench boost in game week 8, and then it was get rid of him. Like, he was never going to be a player who I want to bring in long term. The trouble is, now I have still got the bench boost, I don't want to have him in my team where I'm looking to, where I'm thinking about bringing him in, because that could happen. So I need the funds out of him, which is why I'm thinking of just bench boosting this week, getting rid of that chip. But then it means I can sell him down to a 4-5. Because if I don't, I'm going to be stuck with him until I play it.
True.
Because I'm not going to want to swap out a 5-5 forward.
You can, though, because you could go down to a 4.5 million playing forward who has got a nice fixture this week.
In Krupi.
Yes.
Yeah, in Krupi. But then Calvert-Lewin's got West Ham at home, and
Mate, stop it. This is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem.
I'm not being dramatic though, but that West Ham performance was one of the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was not good. No,
it was really bad. So yeah, I mean, Krupi is an option. The thing is, it's not. I mean, if we come over to, we're jumping ahead of ourselves. But if we come over to this now, it's not a particularly great week, I don't think, for making transfers this week. I think game week 10 looks a lot nicer, for making moves. Palace, like from 10, like that run, the 5 games, Brentford at home, Brighton at home, Wolves, Man United, Burnley. That's why I want to potentially save the transfer this week, because then I can target Sarr, Mateta. So you ask what's going to turn my season around. I'm hoping it's going to be Palace, right? Because if I'm going into that with free Palace, it might be a bit tougher for other people to get there, whereas I can do it quite easy.
But you're going to have to move DCL down eventually, aren't you?
Yeah.
You trust him this week?
Well, DCL would ideally become Mateta.
Really?
Well, because I'm thinking, like, unless you sell Gyökeres, right? But
that's what
with
I was
Burnley, Sunderland and Spurs?
Yeah, but you get double defence.
You could, but then that's...
Because you got Saka, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, Timber does look enticing. I still... Well, this is the problem, right? Like, I look at Gyökeres and I think the goals are coming at some point. They've got to. He's two goals again in the Champions League. He's nailed on in that team. I did. Yeah, but they're the best kind of goals. They're the best. That's what you want. The kind of goals you want your striker getting.
I don't know. I've seen a lot. I mean, we're going to get to my team in a bit, and I'm thinking of making the switch.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Let me know in the chat what you think I should do this week. I'm open to ideas. There's a lot of people. Say. There's a lot of people watching this who are doing a lot better than I am, and probably have done for the last few years. So let me know what you think.
Delete account. Give up.
I'll get enough of those messages. Not on the chat, surely. You've got to be subscribed to write in the abuse.
Yeah. They're supportive here. They're supportive.
They are. It's a nice group. Yeah, in the comments, will be less supportive. Anyway, that's my rant. I'm not going to say anymore. It was just annoying because if I'd played Alderete and Dubravka, I'd have had a good week, and the bench boost wouldn't have even mattered. And in fact, I would have been annoyed I'd played it because I would have got like 8 points. Anyway, wrong decisions. Great and the good. You are flying now. Look at that. You're in the top 10.
Yeah, take that. And
7th.
Little bit of a gap between me and Mark Southerns, so I'm quite happy with that. I've never heard of him before. So yeah, so No, yeah, no, massive. I mean, obviously you play a chip and you hope that happens, but I would think I was reading the Great and the Good article by Greyhead earlier, and it's surprising how many have used all of their chips. So, you've got people like Baker and that who have already used all their chips, which is quite interesting. So I'm happy to have triple captain and free hit in my back pocket. Obviously, only used bench boost and wildcard so far. Fingers crossed I can keep climbing up. But trying to get back into the top 1 million was a target for around game week 12, 13. So to be almost there and kind of ahead of my target, I'm thrilled.
Yeah, no, you're doing really well. I mean, Luke was supposed to be here tonight, and unfortunately he's got to work late, so we haven't got his wisdom. But bloody hell, him in the chat, he's a whining little bitch at the moment, isn't he? Everything going wrong. He's this has happened. Oh, I can't believe Salah's blanked again. And then he goes and gets 82 points, and he's sort of he's doing all right.
Yeah, it makes you think how he could be doing if he had Haaland as well.
I know.
So obviously 82 points, captain in Salah. So that is 82 points with a captain blank.
Yeah.
If he'd have had Haaland as well, I mean, he'd be above me. He'd be top scoring this week most likely.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the flip of that is he probably wouldn't have had Mateta, I'm guessing. I mean, Mark had Mateta. I think he sold him instead of who's his other striker. Was it Evan
Pedro?
Nilsson? Maybe no. I think it was Evan Nilsson.
Was it?
Yeah, someone had Evan Nilsson. Was it Mark? Basically, I can't remember who it was, but someone sold Mateta instead of Evan Nilsson and was fuming about it.
Yeah, Let's Talk has Evan Nilsson, doesn't he?
It was Slippers. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, it was Slippers. Yeah. He must. I mean, that is a killer, isn't it?
Big time. There were
going
people
into
that sold
Forest
Mateta.
at home. Yeah,
I know. FPL fella did it. He sold Mateta and brought in Pedro.
Oh God.
Yeah, killer.
Yeah. Those tweets where you tweet out your moves. There was another guy who made, I think it was about 50k in the world. He did 4 moves, and it was like Mateta out, Fernandez out. Like a 40, 50 points. So you 4 transfers and you're down 40 points on it. It's a brutal game at times.
Can't wait to use mine.
Oh God. Anyway, yeah, well done. The only one on my head at the moment is General, who has like handicapped himself massively by not going for Salah and Haaland. Let's hope to stay ahead of him. I'm 35 points ahead.
The only person you're beating is somebody that is self-sabotaged their season.
Oh Christ.
Brilliant.
Oh, it'll get better. Surely it'll get better.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not lament any longer. All we can do is move on to the next week. I listened to a great speech from Federer once about tennis and how how he's so good at tennis and his attitude to things. And he's like, when he was younger, he always used to focus on what had happened before, lost points and all that. And then he realised there's just no point in doing it. So he always, as soon as the point's gone, on to the next one. That's how we need to be. Let's go with that. There we go.
There you
Positive
go.
mental
Well done,
attitude.
Roger.
Yeah. Talking points today, there's a brick wall on the screen. It's because I wanted to talk about DEFCON. Hopefully some of you or all of you are familiar with the amazing Tom Hadley. Does some bits for Scout, big Wigan fan, the self-proclaimed king of DEFCON, I think he calls himself on Twitter. Does a lot of research, a lot of analysis, a lot of stats into DEFCON. So check out FPL_Tom Hadley if you're interested in more. He's posted quite a lot this week, but one thing I thought was really interesting was the calculations of total DEFCON points by defenders this season versus last year. And obviously we're in group chats with Mark and part of the cartel, and we talk about all these different things. Yeah. And when DEFCON was brought in, Mark and co modelled seasons out. They looked at previous years, worked out how many points players were getting. They didn't want to make defenders too good or midfielders too great, and they spent a lot of time. That's why you got the 2-point cap. And all that stuff. They've never seen a season like this. There's never been a season like this where the DEFCON potential, particularly for defenders, has been so high. And Tom Hadley, spells it out here. The total DEFCON points for defenders last year, so for the whole 38 weeks, was 242. We're 8 weeks in, and we've seen 338 DEFCONs awarded to defenders this season. 40% increase. Oh no, sorry, yeah. It's not 38 weeks. It's the same stage. It's the same stage of the season, but yeah. we're basically tracking at 40% higher.
I mean, there could be a few reasons for that, couldn't there? Number one, that maybe there's a few more teams playing 3 at the backs. There's a few more defenders getting defensive contributions. Number two, we actually have decent teams that came up this year. Leeds, Burnley, and Sunderland have all
Yep.
kept clean sheets at home, and they're all got defenders that are great for DEFCON and have obviously smashed it, which has really helped as well, as opposed to the absolute dross we've had coming up for the last 3 years. And also the teams that are still poor, so you've got the likes of Wolves and West Ham. They're also, especially West Ham, they're kind of known as quite defensive teams anyway. So I feel like it's kind of just been the perfect storm of DEFCON, if that makes sense. I bet you any money next year, if the likes of Bristol City come up, as for instance, that are just going to be whipping boys all year, I bet you these numbers start going down. And it's just the fact that the 3 teams that have come up have had nice fixtures, nice home fixtures against other promoted teams. And every time that happens, they keep a clean sheet and they get DEFCON. So I just feel like it's probably that's happened. It's still quite a significant amount, though. 242 to 338. But the thing I'm wondering is, was there a lesson to learn here? Was there something we should have seen from game week 1 or 2 and gone, this is how it's going to go? Because obviously investing in DEFCON boys early would have been absolutely amazing for people, wouldn't it? And then is this going to continue? So is this a DEFCON year, or is it just that the first 8 weeks are going to be an outlier compared to the next 30, if that makes sense?
There's never been a player like Senesi
No.
in terms of the amount of DEFCON accumulated, and if we look at the total DEFCON points, he is top. So he's got 108 DEFCONs. That's now higher than Casado and Chaka and like Elliot Anderson, 3 monsters for it, who have an extra route into DEFCONs than defenders, which midfielders do. So the fact he's tracking the highest and has one fewer way of earning them is even more impressive. We're also looking. I mean, we're going to be talking about Scout quite a lot on this stream, because they really have. I mean, they're a brilliant website anyway. But I mean, some of the articles that have been published this week, I mean, incredible. I know they sponsor this channel. We're biased, but honestly, the work that Neil, Mark, everyone's doing over there is absolutely unbelievable.
I look every week. That genuinely every week I look at it and go, that's a really good article. Like, and I've looked every week now. It's golden over there at the moment.
It's unbelievable, and there's a great article that's been posted today, I think, on DEFCON, and all the things you mentioned, I think, are completely accurate, but also tactics as well. Tactically, we're having more crosses than we've ever seen before at this point. So if it continues to track like that, then that's perfect for DEFCON players, because they're heading the ball away and making clearances and things like that. Launches up. Have you heard of that? That's something from Opta.
Launches up. No.
Launches up. It's a long high ball into space. So we're seeing that from goal kicks, right? We're seeing we're seeing that from goal kicks. We're also seeing it from throw-ins. We're seeing more long throw-ins than we've ever seen.
Every team are
doing it. Yeah. Every team seems to have a specialist. I mean, West Ham's specialist seems to be Juve, who's awful at them, but he's doing them. He's trying to do a long throw. And again, that's the highest that we've seen. Going back to like 17, 18 season. So it's a perfect storm, really, of lots of different things. I think you're right about the 4 million defenders, like Rodon, your Alderetes, your Mukieles. They're all doing well for DEFCON. Estev too. So all from the promoted teams. We've got established players like Tarkovsky, Keane's doing well. Players and midfielders that we expect to do well. And then you've got someone like Senesi, who's just an absolute monster. So I don't think it's going to change, personally. I think it's the year of the DEFCON.
That's the big question, is whether it's going to change, because you do have somebody that's kind of reminding everybody that it's not all about the DEFCON boys, that there are attacking fullbacks as well. Obviously, he's only doing well because you sold him a couple of weeks ago, but Munoz
Don't even get me started on Munoz. Oh my
Munoz
God.
has got 2 assists and a goal in the last 2 game weeks, and obviously their fixtures are beautiful from game week 10 onwards. So because obviously Palace have so many other options, and they do have DEFCON boys as well. So do we think this is something that's going to continue? That is the big question. You've said, yes, I think it will. I do think long throws are definitely here to stay, at least for this season, because I think when Stoke started doing it with Rory Delap, it took a year or 2 for people to get used to what to do. Yeah. But most people, when it was Stoke, started kicking it out for corners rather than throwing.
Yeah, they did. I remember it. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I'm wondering whether, because that's going to continue, I see maybe the rest of the tactics maybe being tweaked as the season goes on, but I do think a lot of these, like Senesi, 108, that's not just getting his 10 points. He is surpassing that like every week, isn't he? So it's not like even a slight change is going to affect someone like him. But I think it's probably going to end up being a mixture. So having a Munoz plus having a Senesi. So you're not just going to have all DEFCON boys. You're going to have those attacking ones. But apart from Munoz, who else really is there?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, if we look at defenders over the season, so this table is filtered by FPL points. I mentioned at the start of the season, normally we filter these tables by XGI to look at which attacking players can come through. But defenders have so many different routes to points now. It makes sense to look at the combination of clean sheets and everything. I mean, if we look at the FPL points here, it is exactly what you'd expect. It's basically all centre backs. It's Ballard, Maguire's up there, Gabriel, Mukiele, Chalobah, Vardiol, Gahey, Senesi, Alderete, Shah. The only ones on here which you would class as attacking players are Munoz, who's down in 18th, with an XGI of 0.33, which is massive. Calafiori, 0.3. Timber, obviously 0.37. He just looks an absolute fantastic option. And what do you make of Reece James?
Yeah,
in 9th.
That's where I was going. That was my little segue I wanted to start to, because he's played 90 minutes in the last 4 games, and he got a goal and assist this week. Chelsea, I mean, when Reece James is there, obviously Chelsea are better. He's playing not just at right back, but he's sometimes playing in midfield as well. I don't know whether I'm ready to get hurt again. That's the that's the thing. Like you're saying, I want to do something that's, I want to stop the rot and I want to start those green arrows. Is Reece James that kind of a player? 5.4 million. You can move from someone like Tarkowski to Reece James potentially. I know you haven't got Tarkowski, but if you got that kind of money, would you go for Reece James? I think it's there to do it. It's just, how long does he last?
What can go wrong with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Juve and Reece James? They're all in my side.
Oh, God. I can't let you do it.
Pajita says, as picking James and him getting injured is the next play. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I mean, if he was like 5 million or less, I think it would be very tempting. But 5.4 is because you could just get Cucurella, right?
Yeah.
And I know he's obviously a bit more money, but I think it's probably worth it just for that pure security. Whereas if it was like a million difference or like 1.2, 1.3, it would be tempting. But I think James at 5.4, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna go there.
No, 90 minutes in his last 4 games.
I know. Is he playing tonight?
I don't think so, but I will have a quick look.
Okay.
But yeah, Mark Hugh scored tonight, though. By the way, and Caicedo.
Mark Hugh, nice. Ajax got a player sent off, didn't they, quite early?
Reece James isn't playing now.
Yeah. He's not. No, okay, that's good then. Good news for people who are watching the game. A couple of other players to mention here. I mean, Van de Ven, I believe he's the most owned defender in the game.
God.
He's down in 46th for FPL points per 90. He's not getting the DEFCON. He's not had it once. His DC per 90 is 5.46. He's not going anywhere near it. Poor XGI as well. And the clean sheets...
Yeah.
I'm not convinced on the clean sheets either. So
I've got Van de Ven.
Yeah.
I only got Van de Ven because of bench boost week, and he got me 0. So the thing is with him with DEFCON is it's not how he defends. He doesn't defend by sliding in and clearing the ball. No. He defends by putting his hands behind his back and just watching the play go, if that makes sense. So I don't think he's going to ever be good for DEFCON, to be perfectly honest, which is a shame when I picked him. But obviously he went up in price because he scored a few goals at the beginning of the season, didn't he? And obviously that's why he's gone up. So yeah, I don't think. I mean, if I was picking now, I wouldn't be anywhere near Van de Ven. No. But I've got him at the moment because, like I said, I was targeting bench boost and they were playing Villa at home, and I thought that maybe looked like a clean sheet. But yeah, I don't think he's that good. There are much better options. I think even any of the Sunderland, Burnley, Leeds players, I think I'd have over Van de Ven.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about them a bit more next week as well when we probably focus on Palace in a bit more detail. But looking at the Palace defenders, I mean, obviously you've got Munoz there, we mentioned at 0.33. You've got Gahey, he's right up there. Thank you. He's right up there in terms of those points. Then you've got Lacroix, who I've got in 26. But then you've got Richards he's in 32nd for FPL points per 90. But look at his DEFCON per 90. It's at 11. That's the highest of all the Crystal Palace defenders. He's the cheapest price. He's got the joint best success, and if you are interested in his XGI, he's actually highest out of them as well. So,
I think with I think with Richards, you're paying less money for. Although you said about the XGI, you're actually paying for less threat. I think because Richards isn't the one that's going to be getting that flick-ons from the long throws. It's all Gahey and Lacroix, and having watched the game this weekend, they are such nuisances, Lacroix and Gahey, in the box with those long throws. And they must have had 4 or 5 long throws in that game, and it's always them there. Gahey won the penalty as well, didn't he, for Mateta? So he's always there in the box. Richards less so, I would say, from what I was watching. So I think you're paying 4.5 for a player that is still going to be playing every game, still going to be getting DEFCONs, but I think Lacroix and Gahey have that potential to get you the kind of 12-pointer every now and again. And then Munoz has the potential to get you a 17-pointer every now and again.
Yeah. Would you'd pay the 0.4 extra then for Gahey over
I think so. I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've got Lacroix, and it was disappointing because everyone seemed to get points except for him. I mean, Gahey got the assist, Richards got the DEFCON, Munoz obviously got the 2 assists, and then you've got poor old Lacroix there with nothing. But I still feel come at the end of the season, Lacroix is going to be right up there as one of the top scoring defenders. So I'm going to stick with him and watch the others blitz him for points.
I don't see why not.
But yeah, I think we've said it before, but I think getting your defenders right is absolutely key this season. And we're going to talk a bit about value in a bit because the value in defence this year is absolutely wild. Okay, that's the first one. Number 2, big talking point. Can you believe that since we last came on here, Postecoglou was gone and Sean Dyche is in? Poor Mark.
I know. 3 managers already.
Poor Mark. I mean, for Postecoglou to win Europa League, get sacked, join a new club, and then get sacked again, and we're only in October, is pretty impressive, really. But yeah, would you make a Dyche coming in? It's
I mean, I saw a few people saying, right, well that's it, because obviously they've got it's Bournemouth, isn't it? They got Bournemouth away, first game up for Dyche.
Bournemouth away, yep.
And it doesn't get much worse, to be perfectly honest. He could have played anybody in the kind of bottom 10 and he probably would have been quite happy. But Bournemouth are flying at the moment, scoring goals left, right and centre. And I think this is probably one of the worst games he could have had. The thing I don't really get this week is I think it's fine to play your Bournemouth players in this game, obviously. I think it's potentially captainable for someone like Semenyo. I don't think Dyche would have had long enough to counteract everything Ange did. But long term, it could be that players like Sells, Murillo and Milinkovic actually start coming back into our thinking again. I do also think it's still great for Anderson. Anderson is still value at his price in the middle, because at 5.5, or I think he's going down again tonight, he's still going to be getting DEFCONs playing in midfield, so I think that's fine. But it's just something to watch. You're not going to be investing in these players yet, are you?
Are you a little bit disappointed that Marinakis didn't appoint himself? Because I am.
Oh, that would have been so good. Or Mark. Just appoint Mark.
Just Mark Summons leading the team. Some more great stuff from Scouts. Obviously, they've been looking into what we call Dycheball. Since the 2016-17 season. He is a bit, I wouldn't say ridiculed, but I think people do like to take the piss out of Sean Dyche a little bit. He is a very experienced manager. He's had great success at particularly Burnley, obviously getting them European football, made them an incredibly difficult side to beat. They've evolved, you'd say, since then, and I think a lot of that evolution comes from Dyche, right? He was such a key part of them. Defensively, if you look at the stats going back to 2016-17, I think a lot of people listening will know this, but the stats are really impressive. No matter what team he's been at. I mean, with Burnley, he had so little resource, and I mean, look at that in 27-18. I mean, goals conceded 6th with just 39 goals, 12 clean sheets. That was 7th in the league. You look at these numbers and think actually they're pretty decent. I mean, big chances conceded. Look at some of these numbers: 7th in 16, 8th in 17-18. 19-20, 6th. They're right up there with top sides in terms of those defensive numbers. He then went to Everton. Not quite as good, but I mean, if you look at it last year, the year before last, 23-24, goals conceded, they were 4th, Everton, overall. clean sheets, 13 clean sheets, second in the league. He has a habit of making these defences tight, and he does well. And even when he was sacked for Everton, their numbers weren't terrible in terms of conceding. They couldn't score a goal, but they weren't conceding many. So you've got to think as well with the options he's got at Forest, and the fact that Murillo, Milenkovic, the fact that they're used to that kind of style of play that he's gonna bring in. It's a relatively safe appointment, right? Much safer than bringing in someone like Ange.
Yeah, and if you look at all the places he's been, he's always had like two centre backs that are more than happy to get stuck in, love their headers out, and obviously you think back to the probably the best one he's had, which was Tarkowski and me, wasn't it? And obviously at Burnley, we're not doing that. And you look at it and think, he already has that at Forest. So he's already got Murillo, Milinkovic. He's got a good shot stopper and Sells. I don't think you can go near him or near their players for at least the next couple of weeks so he can actually come in and start working with them. They've got Bournemouth, Man United at home, then Leeds at home, which, again, I don't think I'd go there. Game week 11 maybe, but then he's got Liverpool away in game week 12. But then from game week 13, he's got Brighton, Wolves, Everton, Spurs. So if you wanted to, I guess you would then. But it's a big gamble. Like, considering the other DEFCON boys we've got, it's a big gamble. We knew Murillo was supposed to be very good for DEFCON from last season. So he's obviously the one you would potentially maybe try and go for. But it is a big gamble. Yeah, something would have to change. We've got, double Arsenal defence we're looking at. We've got Senesi that's there. Crystal Palace players we want to look at as well. I think it's a tough ask to get them in. We would have to see maybe a couple of clean shots or some good signs that their defence is improving by game week 13 to jump on them. But like I said, I just think they're a watch at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Dyche's season at Everton in 23-24, I mean, if you look at the centre-back partnership of, it was Branthwaite and Tarkowski, they smashed it for DEFCON. I think it was like 70 extra points or something, the models show they would have got. You look back at his Burnley days, the centre-backs just hoovered up points, hoovered up DEFCON points for that too. So I do massively expect Milenkovic, I think Milenkovic particularly, to just be an absolute beast and make good on numbers that we've seen in previous years for him. But it's that thing you just said. It's when do you invest? Because if you look at their fixtures, it's Bournemouth, Man United, Leeds, but then it's Liverpool, and then it's Brighton, Wolves, Everton. I mean, maybe from 13, Brighton, Wolves, Everton, Spurs. That's not terrible. But maybe. It's gonna be. You're gonna have to see things pretty quickly, aren't we, to make us think they're worth the money? Because they're not 4-5 like they were last year. They're 5-5 still. Yeah,
that's exactly it. Like I said, I don't even know whether they still have the watch list on FPL anymore. But you used to be able to put players on your watch list, didn't you?
Yeah. We can bring it back. We can bring it
back. But I think that's the kind of thing you want to do with them. Just start having a look at their data, start having a look at the DEFCON, see if it's starting to rise and see if it's having a positive impact on them. Those two home games in 10 and 11, they're good fixtures to have a look at and see how they're playing.
Yeah,
you've got the impression that he's going to come in and just go, we need to be hard to beat. If we win 1-0 or draw 0-0, then they're positive results. So that's what you're expecting from him, I would have said.
Yeah, I mean, what you're not expecting, like this table shows, again from Scout, is attacking potential. Because, I mean, if you look at goals scored from all of his teams going back to 26-17, I mean, 17th, 15th, 14th, 12th in 19-20. Okay, not bad. Then 18th, 19th, 16th, 19th, 19th. They're just not a team that scores goals. They want a 1-0. That's how he sets up his teams, whether it's at Burnley, Everton, and I predict at Forest as well. It's not just the goals though; it's the total shots. They're consistently in the bottom half of the table. Big chances consistently around 17th, 18th, 19th. It's grim reading if you're a Forest fan for seeing entertaining football, but he probably will get you results. So yeah.
We're only 8 weeks in as well, so he's got time.
Yeah. I don't think Mark's going to be going to the City Ground too often, though, for the rest of the season. Nice. On the other side, we've got some positive things to say about Manchester United for a change. What a performance! Time. What a performance!
Mate, all I keep thinking about is that poor bloke with the afro who promised to only cut his hair when we won 5 in a row. We're now on 2 in a row.
3 to go.
You know who the big game is, though, don't you? the 5th game, if we're going to win 5 in a row, is Spurs away.
Ooh.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
I remember the Fergie days though. He used to smash Spurs. What was his famous comment? It's only Spurs or something
Boys
like
is
that.
Spurs, yeah.
His boys is Spurs, yeah.
I like what I'm seeing from some bits of us. I think we played Liverpool at probably the best time we could have played them. And obviously, I mean, they're winning tonight, finally, which is good. So they're not going to get 5 in a row. But it was everything we wanted in that game happened, basically. So we scored early. They were then going for it and put 4 on the pitch, kind of 4 attacking players, and we're going for it with every attack. And we basically just needed to score a goal. That's what we need. Every time we counter-attacked, they got the ball back and counter-attacked back, and it was a horrible 20, 25 minutes to watch. But there are some good signs. Cunha being back has been good. And
he was awesome, I thought. He was absolutely...
He did everything he needed to in that game. He kept the ball and kept composure, and it was good. I think it was interesting Sesko not playing, because I think he saw Sesko as can't really play him in those really difficult fixtures, which I think anybody that's looking at him, that's worth thinking about, because I said it a couple of weeks ago that Mount is integral to the way this team wants to play. And basically, when Mount has to play, Sesko doesn't play, is the way we've seen it at the moment. So it is a shame, though, isn't it? Because you are going to have to replay the game because Sesko didn't start. Which, Oh, yeah. In terms of excuses, that's one of the best ones I've heard. I think Mbeumo is a very interesting look moving forward, because he's always been high for XGI this season. And obviously, considering... I think he's 3rd or 4th in terms of XGI for the season so far. And considering I think he's the only one in the top 5 not on penalties, I think that says a lot. I do wonder whether Cunha being back hurts him a little bit, because Cunha obviously attracts the ball. He wants the ball lots. And obviously he moves with the ball a lot too, as opposed to the other players that are constantly trying to get the ball to Mbeumo. When Cunha's not there, it's all about Mbeumo. Whereas when Cunha's there as well, he does take a little bit of that away. But in Boom, he's got an explosive game coming up, surely. And with the fixtures we've got, Brighton at home could be goals in that one. Forest away next after that. Spurs away, Everton, Palace, West Ham, Wolves. This is probably the best run of games we're going to get. But trying to invest in one instead of someone else is the toughie. Bruno, I know you're paying 0.9 more for Bruno over in Mbeumo, but the potential for bonus with Bruno is ridiculous. If he gets any attacker return, he's getting 3 bonus. He cleans everything else.
Fairly poor game, I thought, from Bruno. Absolutely world-class assist. So intelligent.
So good. And 3 points.
And then gets 3 bonus off the back of that. Yeah. As a famous man once said, I just don't know how he won't get points every week.
Exactly. And Amarim's already come out and said Bruno's on pens. He's still got pens. As long as he wants them, he's got them. So I still think Bruno's the pick, but Mbeumo is looking tasty at the moment.
Mbeumo is the one who I genuinely feel could turn a season round, because he's got the history of being an amazing FPL asset for us. He's got the fixtures, I think, are turning now for Man U. Mm-hmm. Hopefully this can kick on a bit of form. You never really know with Manchester United. I've got Brighton down for a win at the weekend.
Oh, of course you do. You're going to be like, was it Mark Lawrenson when he used to do the predictions, and he put down Liverpool to win every single game one year?
When Brighton play Wolves at home, I go for a Wolves win. When Brighton play Man United away or Newcastle, I go for a Brighton win, because that's just the kind of stupid team we are. But if Man U can get a win against Brighton, you've got to really think there's been a corner turned. Yeah. And I think Mbeumo is going to be the driving force. If there's going to be this Amarim revolution, I genuinely think Mbeumo is the one.
Do you know the other thing that's massively different now is the keeper? So we actually have a keeper that does the basics, and because of that, the psychological lift it gives to everybody else. Every single time Onana or Bayindir, whoever it was, used to concede an absolute clanger, heads would drop, and just the performance level everywhere drops. Now we've got a keeper that can actually do the basics. You saw it against Liverpool, just making routine saves, and you think, this is good. This is what they should be doing. We haven't had that for years.
I know.
So that makes a massive difference. And if we are going to try and start winning games and gaining momentum, especially in this kind of a run, he's big for that. I am not saying that we need to invest in Man United, but I'm saying that Bruno Fernandes is a good pick, but Mbeumo is definitely turning some heads.
What do you think about Diallo, old Ahmad? Because the minutes are a slight worry, but he is a player with incredible potential. I think he's a wonderful player. He did well for me last year. I had him for that hat trick against Southampton. He's cheap. He's the cheapest route really into the team. 6'3". He started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He started 6 games in the last 7, but did get hooked before 60 minutes.
Yeah, it's because obviously he's going to be playing kind of wing back, and you've got Dalot, who's just been awful recently, and Dorgu as well. It's kind of hoping for those minutes, and I don't think he'd be up there in terms of players I consider personally. I think I'd even consider some of those defenders that are kind of getting good for DEFCON if Maguire keeps his place, which I don't expect to happen. But if Maguire keeps his place for 4.4, old slabhead on corners, obviously great as well. But no, I think it's Mbeumo or Bruno, and I think that's probably as far as I would go.
Great point from J77 Lag. It's the new BlackBox derby at the weekend. I hadn't even thought about that. Of course it is.
Ooh.
Oh, that's added a whole new spice to things.
You wait to see the predictions.
Yeah, I think we could both guess which way we're going to go. Okay, so if you were going to invest in Man U, well, firstly, would you invest in Man U? Would you use a transfer this week to bring in a Manchester United player?
If I didn't have one, I'd be all over Bruno. I'd be trying to get Bruno, I think. But like we've said already, it doesn't really feel like a week to attack at the moment.
Yeah.
I think if I had a choice between Bruno and Enzo Fernandez, I'd go Enzo for this week. Yeah, but people that have Bruno, I think it's fine. But I do think Mbeumo's a quite a nice differential.
I really like the Mbeumo move. If I had the funds to do it, I'd be all over it. But there's just no way I can do it without making major. Maybe if I didn't have the bloody bench boost chip, I could be doing Gordon and Calvert-Lewin up to Mbeumo. But alas, I said no more moaning. No, it's fine. Cool. And the final talking point. Oops, I've got a thing over there. That's definitely the wrong one. Hang on. Here it is. Fourth one is value. I'm not really sure what this little graphic is. It's a quick Google search. It's on value players because we're blessed in a way because we've only really got Haaland, maybe Saka as our premium assets. But, we are reaching the point where we want to get, if you want to keep Gyökeres, if you want to have Mateta, if you want to have some 8 million, if you want to have Fernandes, we are starting to reach a point where the value picks are important. And we all had Reinders down as being the best one at 5-5, scores in the opening game, gets an assist, 5-5, absolute no-brainer. But we're starting to see people move off him a bit now. So I thought I'd just have a bit of a look to see who the value picks are. And obviously this is the points they've got, just divided by the cost. And it's no surprise that the cheaper players come out stronger, right? Because the value is going to be higher. And it's mostly defenders. So Alderete and Mukiele are basically tied at the top. Rovs is interesting. Great value for him at 4.6. I noticed Mark went for him alongside Pope. Gayhe's up there. Senesi, obviously. Gabriel, even at 6.4, is still right up there in terms of value with Timber just below him. The first midfielder we've got is Semenyo. Obviously, with the great start that we've got, he's in 9th. You've got Pope in 11th, which is good, seeing as I've got him. Munoz in 13th, a slightly more attacking defender. But you have got to go right the way down, to find forwards. And you actually raised this, when we were talking about what to talk about. You were like, well, what's the value in forwards? You've got to go down to 39th to find Thiago, who's had an amazing start to the season. Looks a real handful.
Yeah. I don't know why he's not talked about more in terms of we've got a nailed-on striker for Brentford on penalties. He's 6.1 million, who's done all right so far this year. 40 points. He's only 1 point behind Pedro. And Pedro's how highly owned? So, yeah, it's a bit of a wild one there, Thiago. I feel like that's kind of an oversight from most managers. But defence, value is always in defence every year because defenders are always cheaper and there's always, a certain amount of defenders that do well. And obviously with DEFCON this year as well, it's always going to be big. But it does raise the question, why did so many of us go with 3 up top on wildcard? And I am looking this week at potentially moving one of my strikers down and putting more of my money into midfield because my bench boost is now gone. So I don't need to have, I can have some dead positions on my bench. That seems absolutely fine. But I'm just looking at it and thinking, these strikers every week, every time I read out my points, it's always 2-2 and then whatever Haaland got, because there's just no value in them. Bowen was, hopefully going to be the big saviour this week on a Monday, and obviously did nothing as well. And it's tough. I do think, not Calvert-Lewin, but I'm just wondering whether Thiago's one of the better picks. You've got Mateta, who is, he's 7.6, and yet we're spending 9 million on, say, a Gyökeres. So I do wonder if we should really be reinvesting our striker funds into midfield and defence.
Well, like FPL Scope says, I wanted to play 4-5-1 for ages, but it just feels wrong. It does feel wrong, but there's more evidence to suggest that 4-5-1 might be a good way to play the game. Mateta does shake things up a little bit given the fixtures he's got and the performances he's putting in, but take him out of the equation, say there's an injury or something.
Yeah.
I think 4-5-1 would be completely viable.
Yeah, I think I'd struggle with 4-5-1 because, like you said, I want Mateta. So Haaland and Mateta, I think, are the two that I want moving forward from game week 10. But then, like I said, it's reinvesting it into midfield. The thing I think people shouldn't do is invest too much in their defence, because you've obviously got so many good DEFCON boys anyway. But it's that midfield. I feel like that midfield with Saka being back now as well. You've got Saka, Bruno, we've just spoken about, in Bumo. You got Semenyo. There's so many players there that I think you can invest in and move that money to. And we saw it at the weekend. Saka did nothing. Gyökeres did nothing. Saka got 7 points. Gyökeres got 2. Do that enough times in a season, and it's a chasm for those strikers to have to make up for, and they're never getting DEFCON. So you're never getting something.
You're never going to get a striker who doesn't score and gets bonus.
Yeah.
Well, I say never, but very, very, very rarely, right?
Yeah.
It's just not suited to it. The game has evolved in the same way football has in a lot of ways. It's evolved to be less about strikers, but I think a lot of us, including me, we're still quite set in our ways because we want goals and we want to watch football to get goals, and we still back the strikers to get them. Gyökeres at 9 million is going to have to hit 200 points really to justify the cost this season, and to get that, he's going to have to get 20 goals. There's been Chris Wood. I don't even think Chris Wood got 200 points, did he? He got 20 goals last year.
God, I can't even remember now. Yeah,
it's going to be tough for him. Haaland's in 67th on the value as the top performing player.
It's always going to be
because of his. That's the high. But you compare that to like Salah, 219th in terms of value. Even Bruno Fernandes, 141st. You're paying a premium for it.
But Haaland's value obviously increases dramatically because you captain him every week.
Exactly. Yeah. Doesn't take that into effect.
Yeah, exactly. So, though obviously, when you're looking at a table like this, like I said, Haaland's in 67th, but he's also your most valuable player. So you're not looking at that really. But if you had another wild card now, because obviously some people might want to be wild carding this week, next week.
Yep.
What formation would you be playing? Would you be going with just Haaland up top?
I'd be going 3-5-2.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
But I would make sure that my defence was proper DEFCON'd up.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to play, but when you've got like Richards, you've got Alderete. Even Rodon, does well. There's lots to choose from, but you want to make sure that pretty much every week you're playing defenders who are likely to hit that 2 points.
Yeah,
which isn't always easy, but that's what I'd be trying to do. So trying to pick attacking defenders or picking like Van der Ven, who doesn't really get clean sheets, or the DEFCON, they're just out completely.
Seems a waste, doesn't it?
It seems a waste, exactly. There's a couple of players I want to mention here. He's not actually on this list, but I think Keane could be great value, given his DEFCON potential and the fact Branthwaite's out for a bit. And I want to mention 2 midfielders on here in Cullen and Xhaka, because they're 15th and 22nd on the list. I think both of those are unbelievable options. Now that a lot of people have played their bench boosts and things like that, but when you need a player who you might need to come in every now and then, who's going to consistently get you those 4 points, I think they're great picks.
Oh yeah, I like it. I think Shaq is a better pick than Anderson because he's cheaper. Cullen's an interesting one. What is Cullen? He's 5 as well, is he? Yeah, 5 as well. So I think they're interesting. I don't think, obviously you just said there about playing 3-5-2. I wouldn't want one of my fifth midfielders to obviously be 5 million, 5.5. No, you'd want that value there. But if you're intent on playing 3 up top, then I get it.
Yep, very good point. Keane is on there. Sorry, a few people have pointed out he's there in 16th. Yeah, he's someone I'm thinking about this week. I'm actually thinking of using a transfer on him because I think he could do well. Tarkowski's a lot more money and more reliable, I'd say, for DEFCON. But I'm not sure if it's worth the extra million for him.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Keane's obviously inflated because of that one game we got the goal, didn't he? When Luke bench boosted, not bench boosted, free hit.
Free hit, yeah.
So
the one thing he got right on that free hit.
It wasn't
great for him. Fantastic. We'll give another shout out to Scout. All of the tables we're about to show and all of the great things we've already talked about all come from Fantasy Football Scout. So if you're not familiar with them, go and check them out. You can get 5% off a membership, so you can see all the stats tables, play around with the fixture ticker, rate my team, all that stuff by zapping the QR code on the screen, or there's a link in the description. And if you use the code FFS BlackBox5, you get 5% off, and that locks in your price for the rest of your life. As long as you keep that subscription going, you will not pay a penny more. Let's go through some of the data tables then. So looking at team defence over the season so far. And pretty soon, Andy, we're going to be able to look at season versus last 6. Yay. That's going to be nice. But I think for now, we'll let it run. Pretty up to game week 12. Then we've got a bit more to play with. And pay attention to the previous 6 difficulty and the next difficulty, because you've got a team like Arsenal, who, according to Scout fixtures, have had the worst fixtures so far. And they're about to have the best. And they're top. They're top of team defence. And that's why so many people are investing in double defence, right? Even some people going triple.
I saw. I think it was Paddy Power did a advert, and it was Arsenal fans not trying to get carried away, and then they looked at the fixtures and went, "Hang on, we've played all the tough games.
Yeah,
we've played all the tough games. They don't have a hard game now until like game week 20 or something." So it's ridiculous that they've got considerably the best defence, significantly better than others, yet they've had the hardest fixture run up till now, which it just speaks volumes about their defence. They are an absolute horrid team to play against. And we just see it time and time again. For all those people that didn't go double defence, I just don't know. I can't see how you can back double attack when that defence is just the best you've got. And Gabriel's now 6.4, and he still looks value for money, doesn't he? So, yeah, I think Arsenal are obviously, the best ones there. In terms of that, though, look at Leeds in 4th as well. 0.97. Leeds in 4th. They've got Goodmanson and who's the other? Rodon, isn't it? It just seems great for value there. And obviously at home.
What's really interesting with Leeds is they've conceded 13 goals, which is, I think, 4th or 5th worst in the league. It doesn't, their XG conceded does not match on the goals. Look at their delta. They've conceded nearly 5 goals more than they should have done. So that's your Darlow and your Perry, isn't it? Like the goalkeepers clearly aren't doing what they need to do to prevent the goals. And that's the issue with them, is that even if they've got great defensive data, if their goalkeeper is going to let in goals, you're going to have problems.
Yeah. Sunderland in 7th, by the way. It's only 6 goals conceded. They've had the 5th best run, and they're now going on the most difficult run all the way up to game week 16, to be honest. So it's going to... I obviously really liked them, but I'm going to see how they do moving forward.
6 goals conceded in 8 games for a promoted team is incredible.
It's not bad, is it? Chelsea, though. Chelsea in 17th.
Yep.
14th hardest last 6, but they've got the 2nd best run now. So the fixtures are lovely. And we've just been mentioning Reece James and Cucurella. Do you think if you were investing in a defender now, they'd be pretty high up your list?
Yeah, yes, but I think it's hard to know which one to go for. Because, again, if you're looking at James, okay, let's park him for now. We've talked about him. Are you going to pay 6 million, 6.1 for Cucurella? It's quite a lot of money. So then you're probably looking at Chalobah at 5.1. Because it's a real shame there isn't like a Fofana or a Tosin or Adebayo who you'd look at. Because Adebayo is like 3.9, isn't he? He's one of like the cheapest defenders in the game.
Yeah, and Badiashile's out now as well, isn't he?
Yeah. So, I mean, Chalobah, I think, is a good pick. But we've talked about him before. Are you going to pick him over Senesi, Gabriel, and a Palace defender?
Yeah.
That's the question. I don't think so. You might, if you play 4 at the back, maybe, but if you're not, it's hard to justify.
The other one I'm gutted about is Anderson. So Anderson obviously went off injured. They're 6th in this at the moment. They've got the 10th best next fixtures, but their next, from game week 10, they've got Wolves at home, Everton away, Sunderland at home, which just seems like such a good run. And obviously he's been such a beast for DEFCON. I don't know whether I've seen an update on him, but I've thought I read that he's out for a couple of weeks, which is a massive shame. But I swear Fulham are like the least invested in team every season. Just no one invests in Fulham, do they? But, they're putting up okay stats here in terms of XG non-penalties conceded. So, yeah, it's a shame Anderson's out, but I don't think I'd really go for any of his replacements either.
No, I mean we've had Robinson in the past, haven't we? We've had like Smith Rowe in midfield. Leno was top scoring goalkeeper, I think, a couple of years ago, or at least right up there. So they've had some options, but I know what you mean. They're a funny team, Fulham. I like Fulham, but you never have any worries about them getting pulled into a relegation battle. But you never really also have any worries about them, getting into a European place. They're a very steady team, which I think probably puts a few people off. Anderson's a good pick, I think, but without him, I wouldn't be picking them. The other team to mention is West Ham. I still think even with Nuno coming in, they've just got to be a team to target. I mentioned that one of the worst performances I've ever seen against Brentford. Just so short of ideas, or like all over the pitch. Midfield looks really weak. The centre back pairing looks poor. Bowen's isolated. Paqueta, whatever role they've got him playing, he looks completely lost.
Conceded 18 goals.
18 goals. It's going to be really hard for Nuno to turn that team around, I think, because the options he's got, I'm not good individuals, but it's going to be hard for him to turn them into a team. I genuinely think it's really tough. No,
I do agree. I think they're still there to be targeted, along with Wolves as well.
Yeah, Wolves are going to be making a change very soon, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think their manager's got very long. Attack-wise, look at that. Palace right at the top. Talking about investing in them from next week. They've actually scored 5 fewer goals than they potentially should have done. And they're top of the pile with an XG non-penalty of 1.98, which is ahead of Man City, 1.83, and really good fixtures come. Once you get Arsenal out of the way, the run of fixtures for Palace is amazing.
So there's your question then. You've got the best team attack of the season in Crystal Palace going up against probably one of the best defences we've seen in the Premier League in Arsenal. So should you be scared investing in Mateta this week?
It's a popular move. People going for Mateta because his price went up. I'm seeing quite a few people swapping out Gyökeres for Mateta, which I don't know about that. It's a risky one, but I mean, if you're thinking that Gyökeres doesn't have pens, or at least is going to be sharing them, and Mateta's got the monopoly of them, I can kind of see the logic. But I think Palace can score.
Yeah.
Against Arsenal, it is a very interesting one. It's a perfect matchup.
It is.
Given
it's
this
going
table.
to be fun. It's going to be fun. I people seem adamant that Palace are going to score. I see a world where Arsenal keep them out. I think Arteta will be relishing the prospect of keeping them out, and he will do everything he can to try and win this game 1-0, because I think he will walk out of that game and think, this is ours this year. If he could walk out of this game and he's managed to stop Palace from scoring, and Arsenal have won 1-0, I think he would be absolutely thrilled with that.
The problem Palace have got going into this game is you need to be clinical against Arsenal, because if you, even with great stats, you're going to get few chances. And Mateta's got to be one of the only strikers to hit a hat-trick and underperform on his XG. Like that miss at the end. My God. I mean, what is that?
And he also missed a really lovely chance with a header in the first half as well. And I mean, he just had 4 or 5 clear-cut chances. You've got someone, you can have strikers in the league for 20 weeks and not get 5 clear-cut chances like he had in that one game. And 3.48, I think it was, XG he put up in that game. So it's ridiculous. I mean, you're investing in players like that. Darwin Núñez did this, Darwin Núñez was putting up unbelievable XG numbers, but couldn't convert. Whereas Mateta does have those times where he can do it. It was annoying seeing Sarr not getting involved, but I think not getting involved with the attacking returns anyway. But I think he's still a very, very good own. I just don't think I'd do it this week. Even with the price changes, I don't think I would.
I agree. Yeah. I completely agree. I think you're going to be taking out players who I think could do well this week for players that might do well, but there's no real guarantee about it. I just don't think it's the week for it. The annoying thing about Mateta is he's just Calvert-Lewin, but on the other side of the spectrum. He gets points. He underperforms,
other side of the spectrum.
He underperforms on his XG, but he gets points, whereas Calvert-Lewin is the opposite of that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put them on the same. I wouldn't even put them on the same page personally. But whatever, you got to sell some DCL mugs, I guess. But
I've got thousands behind me. Yeah, I know. Got to get rid of them.
Yeah. No, so I think it's such an interesting matchup this week. But I wouldn't be investing. I'd rather roll and use 2 free transfers to get Mateta in, and if he does go out of your price range. The interesting one, I guess, is Chelsea being in 6th. Because Chelsea are in 6th in terms of XG non-penalty this season. But Pedro has been so ridiculously disappointing. Because if you look at the shots he's taken in the last 3 or 4, has he taken 1, I think, in the last 3 or 4 games?
Yep.
They've got the second best fixtures moving forward. They've got Sunderland at home this week. Yet people want red. And I don't blame them. But with the fixtures, I mean, you love Pedro. You obviously had him at Brighton. You haven't loved him since he's been at Chelsea. Is it the right move to get rid of him?
I bloody called this on the wild cards, went for Enzo over him because I wasn't impressed, and I've got absolutely no gain from it whatsoever. And I mean, Sunderland at home. I know Sunderland is showing up well on defensive data, but he's had the rest in Europe. You can't sell him ahead of Sunderland at home.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. I would. Yeah. I think is the better way to do it. The trouble with him is, I mean, the fixtures are good, and it's going to be difficult to sell him. But if you've got Pedro, surely that is the easiest move in the world to Mateta next week.
Yeah. Oh, easy. Yeah, 100%.
It's got to be, right? I mean, who've Chelsea got next week? It doesn't even matter because Palace's run is so good.
Spurs away.
I mean, Spurs. It's perfect, isn't it?
Yeah. But
it says Wolves and Burnley.
Chelsea do then have Wolves and Burnley.
But that's why I like Enzo. That's why I like Enzo so much as a pick. And I think we're going to see more investment for him over the next couple of weeks.
Enzo scored a pen. Esteval took a pen as well. But Enzo then went off in the 45th minute. So Esteval took a pen while he was on the pitch.
Not another injury.
No. But planned, I think.
Planned, okay.
So it's good for the weekend, I would say.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Interesting. Esteval took a penalty with Enzo on the pitch.
He did indeed.
That is very interesting. Got 5-1 they're winning. Fair play.
Yeah.
We've already looked at defenders, so I won't spend a huge amount of time on here. If you were making a defensive move this week, though, who do you think you'd go for?
If I was making a defensive move this week, it would either be a Newcastle defender, so someone like Burn or Trippier, who I've mentioned a few times, or if you don't have Arsenal, you'd be bringing Arsenal players in. I think it's a tough one. I don't like a lot of moves this week. I feel like this week is a week to roll, and game week 10's the week to attack, really. So I don't like an awful lot of moves, if I'm honest.
So I've got a decision to make because I'm thinking of the bench boost this week, but I've currently got Lacroix, Diouf and Alderete. So
you go Leeds, I guess. You get Rodon.
Yeah,
back in.
just get Rodon in. I mean, that is it. Or Keane. They're the two that I like. I mean, neither of them particularly exciting, but they're two players who I think should do well given the stats we've seen.
The thing with Rodon is you can play him this week happily in a bench boost, and then you've got a 4 million defender on your bench for the rest of the year. Like for me, that's perfect. It's why I liked the Mukiele. It's why I like the bench boost in 8 when I wildcarded, because I can keep those players and it doesn't matter what the price is. In terms of how cheap they are. So I think that's probably what I would do.
The correct answer, Andy, is Reece James. FPL scoped.
There you go. And he'll be on your bench every week because he'll be injured.
Tayyip says it. This is literally the position I'm in. I'm so annoyed that I put the wildcard team together and couldn't bench boost in 8. And Tayyip says just bench boost with whatever and get rid of it. And that is genuinely the where I'm at with it now. So that is looking increasingly likely for me. Mids over the season, Esteval is still top of this list. I was quite surprised to see him bench, but I mean, what performance from Neto? I thought he was incredible. Yeah. I saw that lineup from Chelsea and thought, I reckon Ange's got a chance.
Yeah.
Here. But then I saw the lineup from Ange and I thought, oh no.
It was not good.
They could have had a couple though in the first half. Then it could have been very different for him. But
yeah, I thought I watched that Chelsea team in the first half, and I think it was Tom Johnson from Scout that literally said, we need to bring you on in the second half, play Pedro in the 10. What did they do? Bring you on in the second half, play Pedro in the 10, scored 3 goals in the second half. And you're seeing it tonight. Gue started. I think there's every chance that Gue starts at the weekend and they play Pedro in the 10, because Pedro time and time again is showing us he's not a 9. So I think it's a lot better. I've been saying this for
years.
I know.
Absolutely years.
Yeah, but we don't want to bring up Barco, so don't big yourself up too much. But
for every Pedro, there's a Barco.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that could be good for him personally. I think it could be good for Pedro. I think that Chelsea moving forward with obviously Enzo being back, and obviously he's going to be on penalties as well, I think could be fun to own. There's got to be a time though where Esteval starts in the league and he gets that right wing spot for a couple of weeks, because he could be great fun, couldn't he?
I want to see him start, because I mean these stats are so. Next year I'm putting Benanti of 0.94 when he does play, and he is getting minutes, but he's just not getting enough minutes for us to really be considering him, and when you've got players like Neto and you've got other options, it's always, you're always going to be looking at that lineup and wondering if he's going to play. But as soon as there's an injury or something like that and he gets a run of starts, I think he's just a hell of a talent, isn't he? One of the best signings they've made, I think, in years.
Yeah, no, he's
unbelievable.
Good. I know we were talking a couple of weeks ago, by the way, about which Liverpool player you would go for. Gakpo is third on this list, joint third with Jacob Murphy, so make of that what you will. But I thought it was really interesting in that United game when it looked like, Gakpo hit the post twice. It looked like he was going to be the player going off, as in being subbed off. He scored the goal and they took Salah off. Salah going off in the 85th minute when they're chasing against Man United seems absolutely crazy. Benched midweek as well. I think Gakpo's the one you go for. I think if you want a Liverpool player with their amazing fixtures, apart from City away in 11, I think Gakpo's the one you go for.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last week as well, didn't we? Mm-hmm. We kind of agreed on that. I mean, Isak again just failing to deliver. Ekatike lurking. Yeah. I don't think I'm investing in Liverpool at all, though. I'm still not sure about them. There's problems.
I think Gakpo's
real
all right.
Problems.
I think Gakpo's all right. They lost the game. He hit the post twice, scored a goal as well. I think Gakpo's, and 7.5, it doesn't feel as risky. And when you've got, on this list, 47th Reinders, he was poster boy for the first couple of weeks, wasn't he? And he's completely dropped off in terms of City. I don't think you can own any City unless it's Haaland, can you?
Reinders is a real problem because, again, he's not a player you want to deal with at that price. And you always have that fear that, you've got a Man City asset. They can beat anyone 4 or 5-0 and he can get you points. But when you look at players like Sarr, who's I know he's a million more, but you look at that midfield spot as being quite precious. Or you look at the defence and look at the 4, 5 and 5 options and think, Reinders is going to have to deliver quite consistently to get close to like a Chalobah at 5-1 or someone like that. And we just see I know he's quite low down on the XGI, but from what I'm watching, he's been pretty unlucky the last few weeks. Because even with these stats, if you add in a couple more goals, so say he's got 3 goals and 2 assists, you're looking at, one of the best players arguably in the game, the best neighbour in the game, but it just hasn't quite happened. I don't really know. I'm in two minds. Next week, if I've got like 3 transfers, I'm going to be very tempted to get rid of him, but I still don't know if it's the best thing to do.
I think if you're looking at kind of investing a lot of money into midfield, I can understand getting rid of him. But, I mean, the big thing we kept saying was he's playing 90 minutes. He played 59 this week, which hurt. Yeah. But if you had another player at 5.7 million and you said he's playing for Man City and playing majority of minutes, you'd go for them, wouldn't you?
and hitting the post, getting in and around the box, dribbling past players. He's got the pedigree of scoring lots of goals at previous clubs, and he's looking to be playing in the same role for most of the time. He's still a good option, but it needs to be more consistent, to deliver. And I'm in 2 minds. He's had the rest of the Champions League now, so I think that buys him a bit of time. But I think you need to see something really from him against Villa, or he's going to be very heavily sold in
I agree.
Week. Yeah.
Well, him to Sarr will be very, very popular.
Him to Sarr is a good move. The other one I just wanted to mention is Rodgers, because Rodgers has obviously been great for England. Amazing goal against Spurs. Looks like he's sort of coming into some form now. But looking at the extra on Bet 90, I had to go down to 86th to find him. 0.15, and this is the number 10 for Aston Villa. So it was a great goal. He's got a goal and 2 assists. He's starting to kick on a little bit, but again, I think we want to see a bit more from him before we go.
Yeah, we do. And Villa's fixtures aren't nice either. City and Liverpool in the next two. I think there's a better time to invest. From game week 11, Bournemouth, Leeds, Wolves in 3, but then they do have Arsenal coming up as well. It seems a tough one to go for him at the moment.
Yep. Forwards, then we won't even mention Haaland. No points. Absolutely smashing it. Mateta, though, in second with an XG on penalty of 0.87.
Yeah.
That is like elite numbers. That's like Salah numbers, Haaland numbers. It is so high, and that's why people are so excited about him. Because even XG per shot of 0.24, he's getting opportunities in good positions. He's on penalties. He's playing for the best attacking side in the league statistically. They've got great fixtures. Everything points to a great run for him, unless he just doesn't take his finishing boots and he just does what he's been doing for most of the season, which is just missing quite clear and obvious chances. But how essential do you reckon he is from game week 12? Because I'm thinking you've got to have him. I think you've got to have him from 12, sorry, from 10.
I was going to say from 10. I think he is. I genuinely I think from 10, Pedro to Mateta will be extremely popular. Brentford at home, Brighton at home, Wolves away, Man United at home, Burnley away, Fulham away. I would not want to be a manager that doesn't own him. And I think, like I said, you'll move someone like Gyökeres down, invest in whatever it is you want to invest in midfield, and Haaland and Mateta will be the template 2 moving forward, I think. Yep,
I agree. Welbeck, I flagged him as well in 4th. Yeah. He's obviously going to score against Manchester United, so I'd say he's a pretty good pick. 4 goals from this season, a couple off the bench. We're a better team with him playing. I didn't think I thought his minutes would be massively reduced, but he's showing his importance to Brighton again, just like he did last year. What a player! Jesus, longevity of that man is unbelievable.
Yeah, fair play. Brighton's fixtures aren't too bad either, are they? You've got Leeds, Crystal Palace, Brentford. Your fixtures are pretty good up until game week 15, and obviously, like you said, there's every chance you could score against us. If we both invested in him in game week 38, and he let us down. Have you got any temptation to go for him at all?
No.
No, I was going to say, I don't know why that you look at his fixtures and you look at what he's done already this season. He scored 4 goals. He's doing better than Gyökeres.
Yeah, he is. Gyökeres is 9th, 0.42. Lots of talk about him and what he's bringing to the team, and Arteta's praised him and everything like that. But the stats are decent. He had a couple of chances, didn't he, against Fulham? Seems like he's snatching at them a little bit.
Yeah,
he got the poachers' goals in the Champions League. He's a lot of money. Yeah, I think you're right. I think if he doesn't get something against Palace, that move to Mateta will look very popular. But it would be a reluctant sell for me again for Sunderland and Burnley. If you told me, when I bought him on the wild card, I'd be looking to sell Gyökeres before those 2 games, I'd think you were mad.
Well, you say that. We did say, didn't we, that we were hoping he was going to be a bit of a bully to those smaller teams. And you said last week, he was supposed to do it against West Ham, didn't do it against West Ham, and it just looks like he is. He's maybe making Arsenal better, but not necessarily being a good FPL asset at the moment. Which, if he keeps doing this, we can't spend 9 million on him. That's the problem. You can't spend 9 million on a player you don't know whether they're going to score against those lower teams.
Yeah.
And Crystal Palace, you can score against Crystal Palace, but it's you want the best Arsenal assets to own when they go up against Burnley and Sunderland in game week 10 and game week 11. And at the moment, I'm not convinced Gyökeres is the best asset to own.
It's a very good way of saying it.
Thank you.
It's a very good way of saying it. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And the final player I wanted to mention is Bowen, because he is now statistically bottom of all forwards for XGI per 90. And I think that showed really clearly the game against Brentford, where they were getting the ball to him, but he was very wide. They defended against him really easily because he just didn't have the options to pass and move, and the link up with Paqueta isn't really there. It's not great for him. I'm sure he'll still go on and have a decent season, but he's in a few wild cards. I think Mark's got him on the wild card, and people have invested. But we've talked about forwards. We've talked about the fact that you can go elsewhere in defence. We've got Mateta at around the same price. I think there's better options, way better options than Bowen at the moment, but.
Yeah, he's always been somebody that's outperformed his data, hasn't he? So I always find it trickier looking at his data. But with the way West Ham are at the moment, and like we've just been saying about the value of strikers, I'd own, obviously, Haaland, but you'd own Mateta, Voltemada, people like that above Bowen, I think, at the moment. And Thiago. I'd rather spend, 1.7 less and own Thiago than Bowen. Yeah,
same. Yep, completely agree. Predictions then? So this is the current standings. You've dropped off a little bit. You're below that 50% correct outcome.
Mate, unless it's Sunderland, I can't get a right score at the moment, and I keep being one goal out of it, but then completely getting the result wrong. So
yeah. Well, we've got Actor Jeff at the top with 62, 55% correct outcome, and 11% correct scores. Very impressive. Doyne second, Mercurial Squid in third, Richard Morris in fourth, Tom G195. In fifth, Jobalob in sixth. Then we got Lee, then we got me, and then we got Hesmo, who was last year's winner. Competitive league, could go any way. If you're interested, obviously join up to the FPL BlackBox Patreon. We can get you sorted into the league. You probably left it a bit too late to win it, but you can still compete with us on the percent correct outcome and correct scores, and try and get ahead of that. I mean, if you can get 55-60% over the season, I think you've done a great job. We're normally around the 50% mark. These are Andy and I's predictions for this week. Leeds West Ham is your Friday night game. I've gone for a 2-1 Leeds. You've gone for a 2-0. Surely, Andy, if Leeds score 2 goals, Dominic is going to be involved.
No, it'd be Rodon and Goodmanson.
I'll probably have gone for, I was going to say I probably would have gone for Goodmanson, but that would be all right.
Yeah, they'll win it in the 80th and 85th minute, and DCL would have gone off by then, unfortunately. So.
Oh God! Well, I'm playing him this week, so let's see how he does. Come on, Dom. This is got one. I got him for 2 games, and this is the second, so I think it's something. Chelsea Sunderland. I've gone for a 2-0. You've gone for a 2-1. Yeah,
I like Sunderland, but I'm expecting away from home for them not to beat Chelsea. So 2-1.
Yep, and something for Pedro as a sign-off. If Pedro got both goals, would you be tempted to keep?
No. Pedro would be going. Yeah.
Going, whatever. Interesting. Yeah. Newcastle Fulham. I'm really hoping for something from Gordon this week. He was brilliant in the Champions League, I thought. Absolutely unplayable. So
was Harvey Barnes when he came on for him as well, mind. Yeah.
True, but I can see them starting together because Murphy did all right, but I think a Barnes, Gordon. I mean, there's no way he can drop Gordon after that performance. He can. I keep saying that. Of course he can.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised.
Mourinho was singing their praises at the end of the game.
Yeah, he was.
Just said how ridiculously powerful their wingers were, and obviously we've seen that. But you'd be unlucky to get another week with nothing from Gordon.
He's not only the blanks. He's been really disappointing. I thought in the matches I've owned him for. He just hasn't looked like he's going to do anything.
He does go off around 65, 70. Yeah.
I think he's a sell. It's I want to give him the West Ham game in 10, but if that's my route into Mateta, I think he's just gonna have to go because I just can't see him competing given that minutes. They've got so many wingers that they can bring on.
Yeah, yep. I struggled to invest in Newcastle. I don't like them that much this year. I think Voltemada's all right, but I don't like them that much. Voltemada's massively overperforming his XG as well. I don't think they're that great, if that makes sense. Which I think Eddie Howe's brilliant. I just don't think he's maybe got the best squad he's ever had, if that makes sense. So, they lost to you last week, didn't they? Even though did they go 1-0 up? No, they didn't, did they?
What are you saying?
Sorry.
What are you saying?
But yeah, I struggle to predict that they're going to do well every week, if that makes sense. Which could be very wrong of me.
I mean, they've not had a good start points-wise. They're not at all where they want to be. In the Champions League, they're one of the form teams in the whole competition. Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting. Man U Brighton, the derby. Whatever you think about Minanda, you've got to say this is going to be an exciting match. Two teams that will be going all out to win. 2-1 I've gone for Brighton. You've gone for a 2-1 Man U. That is the least surprising predictions we've ever had, I think, on this show.
We'll have to make sure we're in vicinity so we can chat to each other during that game.
Yeah, we've got
first BlackBox derby for us.
I know it's going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to it. It's two teams who aren't great defensively, but have real attacking swagger on their day. So yeah, it should be an exciting one. There's got to be goals in it. Brentford Liverpool now winning 5-1. Wirtz has finally got off the mark. 2 assists for him. They're playing Brentford. Very good at home. They've been very poor away, but great performance against West Ham. But surely Liverpool are going to win this one and end that 3-match run.
You'd think so. I'd be absolutely shocked if they go 4 games in the league without a win. So, yeah, I've gone 2-1 here. Ekitike may be involved.
Yeah, I'd have thought so. They've got to get him back in the team, I think. I think he's too good to be benched. Yeah. Arsenal Palace, I have gone for a Palace goal, so have you. But we've both gone for a 2-1. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a 1-0 Arsenal, though.
Yeah, that was the 2 results I was looking at. It was 1-0 Arsenal or 2-1. So an Arsenal win, but it is tough to see Palace not scoring. But like I said, I just feel like Arteta's going to go all out to keep a clean sheet in this game. Yep.
Would you be willing to bench Palace players in this game?
No, I'm playing Sarr.
Anyway. Yeah, fine. Villa Man City, both gone for 2-1 to Manchester City.
Yeah, I mean...
Not a huge amount to talk about.
No, exactly. Villa have done a few bits, haven't they? But no, City win makes sense. And 2 goals for Haaland, I'm guessing.
I guess the one interesting thing from this, is there any temptation to go against Haaland for captaincy?
Yeah, a little bit. I think... I don't know whether this is the game where City score 3 or 4 and you look further down this list and there is the potential for Bournemouth to score 3 or 4.
I'm tempted by Semenyo.
Yeah, he's the one, I think. He's the one that's tempted me a bit this week.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone for a 2-0 Bournemouth. You've gone for a 3-0. Yeah. I mean, I know there was a lot of talk about Semenyo's first assist getting robbed and all that. I mean, it was the right decision by the rules that Mark's put in place if you scrutinise it. But he's unlucky really not to get 2 assists in that game, and that just carries on an incredible run for him.
The only thing I would say that would worry me as a Semenyo captainer would be no Evan Nilsson. Kruppi Jr. is not Evan Nilsson. Like, he could score, he scored 2 goals, which is fantastic, but he's not going to help Semenyo out much. And I do think that hurts Semenyo. Also, when Kruppi Jr. goes off, it was Semenyo that went up top. And I don't think that helps either. No, so true. You need Semenyo playing on that left wing with Evan Nilsson there helping him in that role. And that's why Evan Nilsson's been so poor this year, because he's been helping Semenyo be absolutely amazing, hasn't he? So that's the only thing I'd say. But it's whether Forest is still so bad at the moment that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I'm just thinking at 4.2 million, have I got to... What's my best course of play here? Is it to just carry on playing sensibly, Captain Haaland, form... data, everything, or is it time to start rolling the dice? I mean, when I have tried to roll the dice before, it's gone completely to shit. Yeah.
You don't start rolling the dice after game week 8. No way. There's so many more game weeks left, and there's no point. You go with who you think is going to score the most points, and objectively, it's Haaland every week at the moment. So
it is.
Yeah.
Yep. I've got some stuff on the captain set, which we'll talk about. Wolves Burnley, though. I've gone for a 1-0 Burnley. You've gone for a 2-1 Wolves. Interesting.
Yeah, these promoted teams aren't very good away from home. So Wolves, true. I mean, I've said this a couple of times this year, that Wolves have to start picking up some points somewhere. And at home to a promoted team, you've got to hope it happens then. So,
Yellow in the chat, please don't roll the dice. Oh, God. She came back on Saturday and I was in such a bad mood. And
I know, she messaged me.
I know. Can you swap me out?
No. She came over. She just wanted a cuddle. It was fine.
I've seen Andy's rank. 96 points. Oh, get him round. Yeah,
This is what it was. Have you seen his bench boost?
So sexy.
His Nordy. I like his Nordy.
Oh my God. That sounds so wrong. Took me a second to work out what the hell you were talking about.
Mukiele.
I got it.
High yells.
Yeah. Everton Spurs, both gone low scoring in this. Last game on the Sunday, I've gone for a 0-0. You've gone for a 1-0 Everton.
Yeah, 1-0. Tarkowski bullet header. Done.
There's only one garden centre game here, though, isn't there?
Oh, God, let's have a look. It would be Wolves-Burnley.
Gotta be, isn't it? Yeah. It's just, there it goes. Not a transparent bag. It looks absolutely awful, but the principle's there. Wolves-Burnley.
I do love these Sunday 2 o'clock. You can watch whatever game you want, though. I love that. Yeah.
4 games on Sunday at 4 and 2 as well. Yeah, nice. This is the captaincy grid that I was talking about. So Haaland is obviously at the top of this. He's got the most points. He's got the best XGI. He's got the best team XG, because we're not really considering Palace options against Arsenal. It all looks great. I mean, in terms of defence, Villa are 10th, so they're banging mid-table. Mm-hmm. If you look at Semenyo, Forest are down in 16th. So the fixture does suit Semenyo. They've obviously also got a weakness down his side that we talked about, which is going to be good for him. You could look at Pedro at Sunderland. You could look at Saka at Palace. You could look at Salah if you've still got him, potentially. Or you could look at someone like Fernandes against Brighton. I don't hate that pick. Yeah, like a Fernandes or an Mbumo at home to us. We've got a weakness down our left as well. I think Mbumo's going to have a bit of a field day against whoever he comes up against, whether it's De Kuiper or...
Could be big.
Yeah, could be big. So, yeah, where are you leaning? Are you 100% Haaland, or do you reckon it could be a... Yeah.
I mean, Semenyo's tempting, but I don't think this is one of those weeks where you gamble. Away to Villa isn't too bad, but if you look forward with when to back against Haaland, you've obviously got Liverpool in game week 11, but that's about it, really. Newcastle away in 12, maybe. You could go for someone else.
This is the matrix I put together last week. I haven't updated it, but it is tricky to know. I think you've got 11. But I mean, even in 11, Gyökeres against Saka against Sunderland, it's not... Sunderland are decent defensively.
Yeah. I think 12, when Semenyo's got West Ham at home and he's got Newcastle away, Haaland.
Or 12 is when I'm thinking of free hitting.
Is it? Yeah. To get
load up on Liverpool.
Load
up on Liverpool against Forest at home. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, because then you don't have to own them for any longer.
Well, exactly. I know, that's the thing. Maybe that's and just hope that Salah comes good in that week, and then and all that. Let's take a look at your team then. What are you thinking?
Yes.
Did you say you were planning something big? Is that what you said before we went into this? Ooh.
So I've got 4 free transfers, because I only used 1 last week, so I've obviously been back up to 4. I've got Raya, Gabriel, Senesi, Tarkowski, happy with all of those, all playing at home. Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, Reinders and Sarr. And then I've got Pedro, Gyökeres and Haaland, with Dubravka, Van der Ven, Stach and Mukiele on the bench. Now, I am thinking that it's this week that I go for it and I get rid of Gyökeres. So I get rid of Gyökeres, move him down to Krupi, and I move Stach up to Saka. And I could potentially play Krupi instead of Sarr. So I could play Krupi as well as playing Saka. Still captain Haaland, obviously, but I feel like that makes sense in terms of I don't want Stach anyway. So I could use 2 of my transfers. I think I've got about 0.1 in the bank to do that move. But I feel like this could be the week I do it.
I like it.
I was wondering what you're going to say.
Yeah, it'd be interesting with us as well. It gives me Gyökeres as a bit of a differential against you. Because at the moment, I've got Saka, which I'm really happy with. So for you to kill that differential is one big potential route for me clawing my way back up to you. But Krupi's a fun pick this week, isn't he? Because he's a 4-5 option you don't need to play very often, but this week you can bring him in.
Well, that's literally it. So I'm looking at it and thinking, well, Krupi will play this week. He's just scored 2 goals. Evan Nilsson's still out, so he'll play this week. I can do it. Yeah, I've got 0.1 million safety net to make that move. But obviously I've got other transfers, so I could just move Van der Ven down to to Richards, for instance, get him ready for the next couple of weeks, and I could make that move. So that's what I'm thinking of doing.
Would you not play Stack over Reinders?
No, I don't think I would.
Okay.
No. Statch I think they came out today saying he's really struggling at the moment. He's had a broken finger, muscle soreness, all this kind of stuff. So they've not really got the best out of him. Whereas Reinders, I'm hoping, plays a bit more. But I think he didn't play midweek either, Reinders, or he came on in the second half.
He didn't start. Yeah, he didn't start.
So, I'm seriously thinking about doing that move. But I will wait. I will do it Friday morning. Or Friday before deadline, whatever. So, that's what I'm thinking about doing. But I feel like owning Saka is better than owning Gyökeres.
I really need Gyökeres to start scoring. If you're going to do that, I'm going to be in big trouble if I go another 3 weeks without a Gyökeres goal. Then next week you do Pedro to Mateta?
Yes. Yeah. Which is funny because I've still got Reinders in that team, who's obviously a little bit of an issue, but and everybody in the chat said that he's the one you need to get rid of. The thing is, he's still a City man at the price he is, and I've got other things I can do. So
you're in a good position. I mean, I know 1.1 million isn't where you'd like to be, but with all those transfers, with the ability to move around, I think you've got some green arrows ahead of you. So I'm pretty jealous.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I feel like I'm in a strong position. I think I feel stronger with Saka. I think that's the thing I want, and I want Saka for Burnley and Sunderland. I feel like he's the one I want. So,
and it's the fact that you can bring Krupi in for Sarr. I think that is the deciding thing with it, because being able to play a 4-5 option with a good fixture, you wouldn't get that at any other point.
I don't think I would get a 0.1 swing price change before Friday. I've got a day to wait, basically. Two lots of price changes. I don't think Statch will go down. I don't think Gyökeres will go down. I don't think Saka's going up. And I don't think Krupi's going up. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Okay, good. My team. So I've got Pope in goal, Gabriel Senesi, Juve is currently in the lineup. I've got Saka, Gordon, Semenyo and Enzo, Haaland, Gyökeres, and the mighty Calvert-Lewin. And at the moment, I've got the bench boost activated with Dubravka, Reinders, Lacroix, and Alderete. I could move Juve, but I mean, I bought Juve. West Ham are dreadful, right? I've seen them. I know they are terrible, but up until this game, Juve was being talked about by quite a few people just because of the fact he is so ridiculously attacking. I do think he missed out just because he was on international duty and he played 2 games. And I mean, I don't really know what Nuno was playing at. He played the 2 fullbacks. One of them was like an academy player that he played on the wrong side. He played Irving in midfield. He just got the lineup completely wrong.
Yeah, big time.
I thought, and he's going to have to revert back surely. I mean, he is a risk. Like he is a risk, but I think he's got to go back in the team. He's one of their main outlets in that side. I thought he was really poor when he came on as well. Bloody hell, couldn't look like he could defend, but he can get forward. But yeah, my question to you is, what do you think about the bench boost? I mean, it's not ideal because Lacroix and Alderete have Arsenal and Chelsea away, but you've got to think they're going to get DEFCON in those games. They are 2 good defensive sides. Could there be a shock in one of those matches?
What are your transfers?
Well, at the moment, I'm done any. I've got 2 free transfers.
And what are you thinking of doing?
Well, the only thing that I'd be thinking of doing is Juve to either Keane or Rodon.
Yeah. So that doesn't change your bench boost at all then?
No. It's whether or not I bench boost with that bench. The issue I've got, as I mentioned earlier, is if I don't bench boost this week, I can't move Calvert-Lewin down to a 4-5 forward because I'm going to need to keep him to play it.
Yeah.
And I don't really want him past this week because I was never planning on keeping him past these 2 weeks of bringing him in.
I mean, like I said, the other thing you could do is lose Calvert-Lewin and free up a bit of money and then maybe upgrade a Reinders. But I don't think there's anybody you would want to upgrade Reinders to that works this week. So like Sarr is obviously there, isn't he? But I don't think you get a lot out of him this week. So surely there's a better bench boost week, like with 4 away fixtures as well. Lacroix against Arsenal, I don't think they're the best to get DEFCON, if I remember rightly. Alderete away to Chelsea. You expect Chelsea to score, but they've been good, I suppose, for goals. But you wouldn't be expecting a lot with this bench boost, would you? What would you be hoping for? Between 8 and 10?
What I could do is wait and next week do Gordon and Calvert-Lewin to Mateta and Xhaka.
Yeah.
And then at least I'm bench boosting with Alderweireld and Xhaka against Everton. Look, Juve's got Newcastle at home, I think, so he'd be on the bench. But then Dubravka's got Arsenal. Yeah. So there isn't another... Like, it was so perfect for 8 because they all had a good week. Whereas if I'm always looking for like the perfect week, there isn't one.
Yeah. No.
So...
Just play it.
It's tempting, isn't it? It's tempting, isn't it? Just to play it and just get it over with.
You said last week the only time a bench boost can be played badly is when it keeps value in players you don't want value in, and that's what Calvert-Lewin's going to be, isn't it? Because you need to move him down, really.
Unless I get rid of him next week for Mateta, that's the thing. But the issue is, I
don't think you're going to want to do that. I don't think you're going to want to keep those 3 up top.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong. Yeah, because
it locks me in. If I don't play it this week, it locks me in to staying with 3 up top.
I mean, I'm trying to work out whether moving Gyökeres to Saka is value. You moving Gyökeres to one of the defenders is value. Is pure value. Like genuinely, like you can move him to Timber quite easily, I think, and I think that makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I don't know. There's quite a few things I could do.
Have you ever seen a minus bench boost before?
Could happen.
Just asking.
I think realistically, it's probably it's an 8 or 9. I mean, the thing is though, you only need one surprising result from those 2 games, or a Dubravka penalty save, or Reinders getting a big haul, and then it's looking all right. That's what I said to you last week. You only need one player. Like last week, if you bench boosted with Dubravka, didn't matter who else you had, even if they were all 1-pointers, you were happy. Yeah. So you only need one 7 to 9 pointer, and then you're fine. But
it's just a shame it's none of them.
Yeah, you're just trying to put yourself in the best position, and it's none of them. No, I do.
Exactly.
I do agree with that. Cool. Black Box League. Chris Hart is top. 606 points. Amazing. But look at Bobby Styles in third with 120 points this game week. 590. That's double my score. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah.
I knew his dad. Yeah, Nobby.
Oh, very good. You're probably old enough.
Wow.
Wow. Avali Oja in 4th, Gary Hewen in 5th, Pete Kilson in 6th, Joachim Gunnar in 7th, Ahmed Chinatu in 8th, Lindsay Van der Krick in 8th, and Nathan White in 10th. Sorry, they're joint 8th, Ahmed and Lindsay. If you haven't joined the league already, you should do. The code is DGETG1. Obviously, there's a link in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And a big shout out to our lovely Patreons in the Godfather League. We've got Stuart Thompson in 1st, Benjamin Lund in 2nd, Caroline in 3rd, Paul Jacobs in 4th, Jeff Turner in 5th, Nathan Joblin in 6th, Tim Matthews in 7th, Doyen Kim in 8th, Ryan Mendelsohn in 9th, and Sunak Gosh in 10th, all having great seasons so far. I mentioned Luke couldn't make it. Hopefully he's doing all right. Andy, thank you for stepping in. Pleasure, as always.
No worries, my man. Obviously, we want to try and get Luke on again soon because he talks about it very, very differently to how we talk about it. And he's called a lot of things right this year. He just hasn't actually gone for it. So fingers crossed we can get him back soon. But no, thank you so much for having me. You are the lovely filling in between my parents' evening sandwich. So I've really enjoyed being on here.
I've never been called that. I don't think I've ever been called a filling before, let alone, well, not in a good sense.
You have.
There's very different types of filling, isn't there? And yeah, I don't think I've been called any of them, to be fair. No, absolute pleasure. We'll be back next week. No late tackle. Yeah, I was ill last week, so I couldn't do the late tackle with Luke, which was a shame. There's no late tackle this week because it's the Friday game, but next week it's the lovely Sam Bonfield who'll be joining me on Black Box, making her Black Box debut.
Nice.
And it'll be a spooky one because it's Halloween.
Oh, please dress up.
Oh, God, obviously. I'm trying to do it in fangs and just like lisp my way through an hour and a half of Black Box. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like this video if you've enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're listening on podcast, do us a review. We really appreciate that. And good luck at Game Week 9. And we will see you all again next week.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.